Cheers, everybody. Welcome to another poll results video. Now, last week, to be honest, first off, I quite take well. I did not when I put this question out. I did not kind of like expect people to be so passionate about their answers to this question. Um, Last week's question is: are beer machines a waste of money? Okay. I put a poll out. I'll give you the results of the poll at the end of the video. We got plenty of, got a few comments. Um, so first of all, I'll tell you what you know, what spurred me on to ask this question was the fact that I know lots of people who I would say are not really beer geeks, okay, have gone out and bought certain machines. I won't tell you what machines, I think you can guess what machines they are. And the majority of the people I know either don't use them no more or want to get rid of them. Um, so it kind of like had a bit of a light bulb moment in my head thinking, well, maybe I should ask a question to everybody who watches me. Do you think beer machines are a waste of time or waste of money? Um, and I learned a lot from people's answers actually, because what I thought would be quite an easy thing, what I thought would be a real cut dried thing isn't. Um, from my perspective, I must be, well, I will be. My channel now is very much in a minority regarding beer channels that I haven't got a beer machine, I haven't got a perfect draft, I haven't got a blaze. I've never felt the need to go out and buy one. I've always thought, well, if I'm ever given one, maybe, but I've never gone out of my way and said, oh, everyone's getting a perfect draft or a blade or whatever it is, I need to go and get one. I've never had that drive. And the reason is, for me, is that, you know, it's buying the keg, then I'm stuck with the keg, okay? I don't really have many visitors. Who wants to visit me? You know what I mean? Now and again, we have a little get together now and again, but it's really for people who've got friends coming around and stuff. And to be honest, I'm such an antisocial git. I'll be stuck with a keg of something which. Say if I don't really like it, then it's going to be a waste of money. And for me, I like going out, getting me cans and bottles, and trying different breweries. Breweries which aren't on the perfect draft or whatever. And so never really felt the urge to get one. So that's my own personal opinion. Uh, so there is a beer I would like to try on it. And there's some great German stuff on it and Belgian stuff on the perfect draft. I get it. Uh, and I think the Old Peculiar as well, I would really like to try, a pint from a perfect draft on that. But for me, I don't feel the urge to get a beer machine. I just don't. I just don't feel the urge. So we got some answers, comments, and I'm going to read through them all. So we're going to start at the bottom. The first person to answer, I think was Captain Keggy. The beer reviewer with the most, the hostess, the beer hostess with the mostess. Baz at all the beer, no idea. Cheers, mate, for commenting. He says, yeah, great bits of kit. Certainly not as good value as they used to be, and quality of beers have gone downhill on them, unfortunately. They never gonna give you outstanding craft beer, but great for chuck down your neck beer, I'd say, and does give you the draft experience. Me personally have had 6-7 use out of them, but not gonna suit everyone. Now I totally respect Baz's answer to that. For me, out of all the beer reviewers out there, You know, if someone knows about Perfect Draft and everything, you know, maybe Baz and Paul that rate my beer, they're the ones. Maybe, you know, Baz for me is the one to go to because he's been doing it, I think, the longest out of all the beer channels. I know Simo's always done it, and Paul and Michelle Rate My Beer have always done it. But for me, I've always taken Baz's opinion on board regarding beer machines because he does like his beer machines, so he does know a lot about them. So yeah, so cheers for that, Baz. Scott reviews things. Cheers, mate. He says I have a PD, Krups a sub, two fucking pinters. Do you pronounce it pinters or pinters? Pinters, innit? And they are no more than fucking dust collecting paperweights. You know what? That's the top line. That says to me, that's exactly what would happen with me. They'll just be collecting like George Foreman grills and everything, and end up getting cleared off at a bloody car boot sale. These machines had their day during COVID when everyone wanted to get pissed in the garden. That is a good point, actually. I've also always thought that Perfect Draft were dangling the carrot when they first brought the machine out, you know, regarding, you know, pricing of kegs and everything, and to try and get people to buy the machine. You know, the more people bought the machine, and the more breweries would get interested in it, and, you know, and thus it would become more popular and everything. And I think that's, I've always felt that I've kind of dangled the carrot, you know, to get people to buy the machines. And once I've sold enough of these machines, you know, get rid of the carrot. That makes sense. Prices have gone up and I can't be asked. I let other channels bawl on about these machines, so I may as well chuck mine out the window. That's a proper rock star thing to do, Scott. Chuck your machine out the window. So, cheers for that, mate. Anyway, eloquently put as usual. Lee73 says, cheers, mate. He says, I've had my PD for many years now. Go through stages with it, worth having, but it isn't as good as what it was for beer selection. Am I glad I have one? Yes. Would I recommend someone buys one now? Probably not. Bit of a confusing answer, sorry. I think it's not that confusing because I think there was a time and place to buy the PD. Like I say, when it first came out, and it was you know, getting pushed out there to get people to buy it. You know, yeah, you bought this machine, it's got 5 years of life to it, 6 years of life to it before beer starts to dwindle or people just get hacked off with it. You know, one of them things. The Hopper reviews, cheers, mate. I love my Perfect Draft machine, although because they can be a twat to send the kegs back to. I haven't ordered any new kegs for a few weeks. Refuse to when I have £20 of credit sat in my garage. See, this is it. You see, it's from your answer, it tells a lot because I think you do like the beer from the Perfect Draft, and you do enjoy drinking it. But it's a fanny on to get your kegs, you know, to get all the new kegs ordered and stuff. So yeah, I know where you're going to. Slurpy Dave, cheers, Slurpy, says go to the pub and get a proper pint. Well, you're right there, mate, aren't you? At the end of the day, you should go to the pub and get a proper pint. Dean's Beer Review says, yeah, PD, cheers, Dean. PD is great for a few lagers, especially when it's barbecue season if you've got people over. Definitely. I think that is where, you know, the PD does work, when you've got everybody round, being very sociable and, you know, playing swing ball in the garden. Well, that's what we used to do anyway. Only buy a few kegs now and then. I'm happy with it. Cheers, mate. Cheers for commenting. We have got Melam 168. Oh, got a bit of a long one here, so bear with me. I say, boy, I'll leave him alone. I say Physics Draft Pour is worth the money. It gives you the freedom of putting any can or bottle of your favourite new drink you want to try. I've had it nearly a year and I wouldn't be without it now. A friend of mine saw it in action and bought one on the back of trying mine. It improves the taste and it elevates and balances the flavours out. Same with the mouthfeel. Carbonation of the drink is in the right way. If something is super gassy, it will smooth it out somewhat. The Blade and Perfect Draft machines are not worth the money now as kegs gone up, and more so in the PD case. They used to have drinks brewed in their native countries. Now it's mostly UK brewed. Interesting comment. Matthew Barker. Cheers, mate. Hope you're doing well, mate. Happy I sold mine. I wouldn't like to be spending that kind of money these days on kegs. They keep putting the prices up. Fair dues. Did you try selling it to me? I can't remember, mate. I don't think you did you? I don't think I would have bought it either. Never mind. Cheers, mate. Anyway, cheers for coming. Tommy McAllister, cheers. How you doing, mate? Hope you're doing well. Definitely not a waste of money if you're happy enough to keep buying the kegs. I've got the PD and fantastic for the summer, but some kegs can be pretty pricey, as is everything now. True. I think it's all about the cost of it now. And I think that's the longevity of the PD. You know, this this video was all about beer machines in general, but going through the comments, it's going, the PD is the most popular beer machine out there, isn't it? Andy K3412, cheers, mate. He says, not for me. I much prefer to try different beers instead of sticking with the same one. I can imagine it's worthwhile if you have people over for a barbecue. That sums me up. That does. Not for me. I much prefer to try different beers instead of sticking with the same one. I'm the same. I like, if I go out and I want to have loads of beers. Careful. He's getting bossy. Right. Leave him alone up there. Okay. Leave him alone. Right. So we've got Andy's comment. Right. Basically, I think it's really down to, for a social thing is to have a PD, really. That's the way I look at it as well. Chris's Beer Reviews. If you haven't subscribed to Chris's Beer Reviews, please go over and subscribe to him. Fantastic channel. The price of kegs have gone up a bit recently on the PD. However, there are still some fantastic beers on the PD. St. Austell Proper Job is great, I can imagine. Vocation Life and Death is superb. Yep, I can imagine that too. The draft experience is sometimes worth a little extra for. Of course, there are many kegs I would not touch, but a great range of German and Belgian beers. And in the summer, the machines really come into their own. Barbecue season, although I barbecue all year round. So I think for me, reading these comments, it's all down to one thing. It's your lifestyle. It's, your own situation. If you have big families, if they come round, if you have a social life, you know what I mean? It's one of them things. If you can still use it, it's still, it's still part of your living at the weekend or whatever, then yeah, it's warranted, isn't it? But there's some people who, maybe not quite hard up, can't afford the kegs, or just plainly bored with it. They need to get rid of it. So I think it suits some people on some terms, and it doesn't suit people on other terms. So looking at it generally, it's not really a right or wrong answer, is there? It all depends, of the person you are. So when it comes to the result of the poll, I would take it, me personally, I would take this poll as a little bit of, a pinch of salt, really, because, if you're happy with your beer machine and it suits you, then you're not going to take any notice of this poll anyway. So the poll is, are beer machines a waste of money? Yes says 60%. No says 40%. And there you have it. Like I say, I don't think that result really speaks much. It's all down to the individual. So that's the way I stand with it as well. Thank you so much for watching this poll video. Not many beer reviews coming up at the moment, but I will be putting up another poll for next week today. And hope you comment on it, and hope you've been enjoying these type of videos. So look after yourselves and see you on my next one. Bib bib.